Oh, they better.
I don't know anything about it.
This is Chipotle. You'll hear way more than I.
What is it?
Chipotle.
I don't think I've ever been to.
I've never been.
Where is it? I've only been like once.
Over, kind of near the mall. You know where the Red Lobster?
Yeah.
Right beside it.
Oh, that's so bad.
What's up, Matt?
Go to the pool.
I live near there. Cute.
I would have gone. I went down. Here, why are you sitting way over there? I really do. I worked out.
She walked in and I was like, it smells in here.
I've never been there.
It's probably me. I did work out before I came. It's okay. I'll admit to stinking. Can I eat?
That's how I heard it doesn't go good.
What time is it?
I think you can like eat a few bites, and then if you feel like you need to get away, then you can.
I mean, I'm used to regular meals. I just eat double time. I'm probably gonna put it up. I'm not gonna lie. I guess I'll just eat this one. Because my TV didn't work last night and I missed the bathroom. I was so mad about it.
The TVs on campus didn't have channels 5 through 9 last night, so ABC.
Especially because the Bachelor didn't come on. And it comes on channel 9.
Yeah. Wait, we're.
And I don't watch the Bachelor. I just got into it this year because there's a girl from North Carolina on there.
You actually didn't have to get there. The good doctor.
Okay, I don't feel comfortable eating.
Well, I could watch the rest of it. I'm so mad.
I don't
Like,
blame
me
you.
and my friend like watch every Monday in the Morgan lobby. Sometimes the TV wasn't working. So when we went to the iCloud, the TV wasn't working. Conrad lobby, TV wasn't working.
I live in
My
Price.
laptop.
Went downstairs, went to my room, like tried everything to get the TV to work.
Yeah.
Did not
So
work.
I don't know what it is, but I googled it and they said like some signal changed or something, and like those channels went missing for some reason.
Okay, so am I gonna get channel 9 back ever again?
I don't know.
Real
And then
quick.
I tried to like stream it live from my laptop, and it said your location is not like fixed at that for live. I was like,
Why? Oh my gosh.
hey, what do you guys think? I thought Chisholm said she was gonna be here.
They tried to bring it out.
I don't know. I'm hitting gavel at 6 o'clock.
We all do.
Yeah.
No, everyone's kind of loves it.
So wait, when that messes up my CrossFit time, y'all. CrossFit.
So maybe we can clarify that today.
Yeah.
What does it?
I don't feel comfortable eating right now, so I'm gonna just sit there and just head ass.
Me, you, and other people that go with her office.
Okay.
We're doing order boards.
6 o'clock. St. Travis.
If we could switch it or.
Ooh.
Somebody had asked if it worked better and everything. And saw the athletes do it.
Every day.
Way more than I should.
That's why she's in the Okay.
Great. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a good break, and I hope you're ready to get started with the second semester full of energy. So, as you can see, today we have a special guest. I'm assuming you all know him, and I will let him introduce himself.
Sure, Fred can put on a couple of issues from you guys, if that's okay. If you mind, would you just go around and tell me who you are and where you're from, just to kind of reinforce a couple things? I'm getting to know most of you, but I just want to be sure.
I'm Olivia Thorne and I'm from Charlotte.
I'm Tyler Rooney and I'm from Buchanan, Virginia.
I'm here and I'm from Taylorsville.
I'm Clayton Schreiber and I'm pretty much from here at Hickory.
Brad Vogelsang, and I'm from California.
Caitlin Waters, and I'm from Warren School.
Emily Maxwell, and I'm from Conover.
Cassie Mitchell, and I'm from Taylorsville.
Taylor's,
Not Canada from Winterwork.
got a cold?
Yeah, I think so.
Sounds like
You
it.
got something. Yeah, I got something.
Newton Fair, and I'm from Newton, basically.
Newton,
Yeah.
I always say Newton. That's interesting.
Newton.
Good. Let me pass this out. This is probably more information than you wanted. If you'll take one and pass it around, I'll try to explain to you just a little bit about it. If you have any other questions about anything on the campus beyond this, I'm happy to take any questions. While it's going around, we try to do a calendar a couple of years out, and with a new president coming in, the provost left, we don't have a calendar beyond 1920, and the 1920 calendar was a little bit rushed, and it had us finishing in December of next year, December the 19th. That seemed a little late. I'm sure it was for you if it was for me. And we needed to make some adjustments about start dates and end dates and tweak the summer a little bit. So that's what we've tried to do. And I think we have a pretty good calendar, but a couple of things will change. I just wanted to walk you through it. And I've got more information than you need, and just like students, you're already reading ahead. But if you'll just look at the first page, you can see the summer, and anything in red is what's changed. So in summer, for example, we'll actually start classes on a Monday instead of a Tuesday. And that's true in first term and second term. And the original summer schedule had like a week break in between first and second term, and it caused us to have to start a little later and then end in December. So it kind of snowballs. And normally you don't have a long break except for maybe the 4th of July day or weekend in between summer sessions. So that's all we tweaked in the summer. On the second page would be fall, and I think that the second page is actually behind. Some of this, the matriculation ceremony that we do for new freshmen coming in, we kind of want to make that a little more special, maybe do it on Sunday instead of Monday morning. And then our president ceremony will still be during the week on a Monday. We know when homecoming is, we know when fall break is. We didn't know that. It was wrong. Friday, and then we will have 4 days of exams, Monday through Thursday. And you'll have a half an hour in between exams, not 15 minutes. And we've got it scheduled so, for the most part, you shouldn't have over an exam a day, maybe 2 a day. You won't be loaded up with 3 a day. So instead of 43 class meetings on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there are 42, and then you have an extra 30 minutes of an exam. Some faculty get a test and you're in and out in 20 minutes. Others take the whole time, and you might be reporting out on projects. So it's up to the faculty member, but you have some extra time. And exams will be like, 8 to 10:30, and then 11 to 1:30, and then like, what would that be? 2 to 4:30, and then 5 to 7:30. And we try not to put as many exams at the 5 o'clock or night hour. So, the smart thing would say, if you have a lot of heavy classes, that would be the 12th of December, not the 19th. So I think people would like that. The thing that's been recommended that I'd like to get some feedback is not to have a December commencement exercise. The university used to not have it. They had one in May and one in the summer. And then the summer, participation had kind of gone down. They decided to move it to December. And some schools larger than us don't have December, and they're talking to this December commencement. We have, about the same year or later, but they do it in May. And most of the faculty and some of the folks want to, there's some expense into it. If we still allow people to walk, say in May, when they only maybe have a semester just like this, even though it's 11 months away, someone said that maybe you ought to do a December graduation in 19 and give us 2 years to adjust to that. So I can go either way, because if exams are Monday through Friday, we could do a commencement on Friday the 13th. If the exams are Monday through Thursday, we could do used to actually pass out your actual diploma at commencement. I don't know if you know this, but we don't, and that keep the classes before we have a commencement ceremony. So that would be a change for the fall. Let me go through, and then I'd love to hear your feedback. First, the next page, the classes again would begin on Monday instead of Tuesday. Spring break on this schedule would be moved up a week. And that's something we'll do after I've talked to the music folk. But right now, it doesn't occur at the middle part of the semester. You actually, like if you have 42 Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, right now you go 26 Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, have spring break, and have maybe 16 Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes. If you move it up a week, it's a little more consistent with some of your other schools, and it's pretty much right in the middle. And the only thing is, and we would graduate a week earlier than had been planned. Instead of graduating like, I believe it was May the 15th, 16th, it would be May 8th or 9th. And we hear that helps get, students, if they have jobs or whatever, you don't get, you don't lose a position because you're late getting out there. The thing we would have to do is pick up a Monday, Wednesday, Friday day. So the other big change in the spring, is commencement, probably in the fall is a big thing, is our Easter break, not spring break, but Easter break instead of Friday, Monday would just be Friday. Okay, and so, because we start class on a Friday in January, and right now we've got it, so you have just about 2 weeks after after Christmas before you come back, so it won't be quite as crowded like it was this year. So those are about the only tweaks in it. What we've heard from our music program is they host a big kind of a regional competition. There are 3,500 high school students that come in, and they would rather do that during the week of spring break, and they're not sure that group will move earlier because the various high schools need that extra time to rehearse, because sometimes they have snow days. So it's set for whether it's the week I have here or the week after it is here. That's the only thing in spring break. So it's a lot of information, and then when you look at the calendar, you can kind of see where some of these things fall. It may be something you've never paid any attention before, but I like to get a lot of input. And you don't want to do an academic calendar without hearing what the students think. So what do you think about the December piece? The commencement piece.
Actually being at that commencement, I think we put a lot of resources in that. The 19 would be a really good compromise, but I think
19.
yeah. So
Do
if
it
we
this year
if
for
we
Cheyenne and
so if a lot of people
Tell people now it
if
was
a
the
lot of
last
people
one.
so if a lot of people want to go and are planning on graduating in December by walking, but I mean there's only 38 undergraduates. There's probably 70 people total, maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a lot of resource to.
Well, there are more faculty there than there were students.
Yeah, and I think if we really spruced up, not even spruced up, but made the spring just kind of a bigger deal,
Right.
and have those 38 just walk in.
Yeah.
In May would be.
And somebody may walk in the May
And
before,
prior to
and somebody may
previous, yeah.
walk, so it wouldn't be that difficult.
I
But-
have to go the extra semester, and I agree with it. It makes more sense just to make it a big ordeal for May semester than the December walk.
And of course, if you're all set to graduate in December, you think, oh, crap, I don't get to walk. Well, you get to walk, it just wouldn't be that. You would still graduate in December. It would still be on your transcript and all, and you'd still get a diploma. It'd just be when you actually participated in the walking ceremony. So,
Are we wanting to hold it in May because more people would come out rather than just faculty? Is that like the whole reason behind it?
but you always have one in May. That's the end of the academic year.
But
And
not
that's-
having one in December though.
I don't think it would be because they wanna have the rest of them in May necessarily, it's just there's so few people who are really finishing up at that time. you know,
So it's just like, what's the point in doing it?
and the point is, of course, is we wanna celebrate students, but we already do a very big one in May, and we haven't been doing this for more than 7-8 years in December. So is it time to just kind of reevaluate and say, you know, let's not do December, cause this year, and y'all don't know if y'all realize this, we came very close to not having a December graduation, the ceremony, because of the snow and not knowing how that was gonna go.
Remember how we delayed, we delayed exams a couple of days?
Yeah.
We were worried about with a foot of snow, typically what'll happen, the power will go out for a couple of days. We were lucky this year regarding that, and we
We've
thought, well,
canceled
if we have to
regulars.
keep pushing, you know, final exams back, we may just not be able to have commencement.
9 years ago, we didn't have it at all, cause it started off with this much snow, and before like 2 o'clock, we had about that much snow on the ground, and so we had to cancel it altogether.
I mean,
So there's that concern, and.
Like, sometime in December, we always get a good snow here sometime. So I feel like, I mean, they are graduating, but as long as they get to walk, if that was me, I wouldn't. As long as I'm getting to walk somewhere, that's fine. So I think in May would be
I
fine.
think some larger schools started doing it, and some even do a summer and a December, because you have so many, and the facility that you use in May can't fit everybody.
And I feel like we also
And
get
so
more-
that's when you
more families time to plan. Because just like you're saying, if that happened and they snowed and you had to cancel and people have hotels that they
It
paid
was
for.
ugly, let's put it this way,
And
it was
then,
ugly that year.
yeah, and then, you know, they have to stay longer, they can't afford it, and they have to go back home, and they miss it. So, yeah.
And I think the thing too, like, the only downside that I could see, but the only reason I know this is because Catawba doesn't do a December one, and the only thing was that, like, they didn't graduate in their year, like my fiance didn't graduate his
Actually,
year.
he would, he just wouldn't.
But
walk this
he
year.
just didn't walk, he graduated, but he didn't, like, walk
With his-
graduation
his-
with
yeah.
his. But I mean, the thing is like, not many schools around here do it anyway. We are so small, there's no really, like, resources are being used for something that could just be moved to make it bigger in May.
The only concern I can see with that is if it rains on commencement in May, like those 40 people.
Tickets.
The tickets, you just get.
Is that many more?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
maybe
that's
less,
like the only concern that I see with.
Yeah, we've
weather.
talked about, going to a morning ceremony, for May, because it's less likely to have thunderstorms.
Yeah.
It's pretty warm out there,
Less
in all the sun is on that field. And we're gonna do hopefully some paving and curbing of the quad and a little bit of work on the steps, in the next year. And, you know, one of the options would be to try to have it in the quad. We've talked a little bit about that. A lot of people kind of like that idea, graduating in the quad. So, but you're right, regardless of where we have it, if it rains, we've gotta, you know, I think right now we try to do 2 ceremonies, one for graduate, one undergraduate. You know, we may have to do 3. The other thing is we're trying to upgrade the seating. We now have air conditioning in the gym, and the gym holds 2,800 versus say 1,200 in P. Monroe. So that helps a little bit if we had to move inside. But that's a tough thing to have to do. Last year we had a lightning delay,
Oh, yeah.
so we hung around an hour or so waiting to see what was going to happen, and it turned out that it was fine. So, well, those are great comments. If you have some more, or you think about it a little bit, shoot me an email or stop me if you see me on campus. Or, we need to get something out pretty soon. Some people have told me just pull the Band-Aid off and don't have commencement. People will get used to it. And some have said, well, why don't you transition and just have it one more time? So that, you know, I guess I'll just make a decision on that, because I can go either way. And the reason we would do an Easter Friday instead of Easter Monday is from a religious perspective, Easter Friday is the holiday. Some folks have said, yeah, but I'd rather enjoy Easter than drive back on Monday. But I think some of our folks who live far away usually don't leave on the short holidays. They either go home with a friend or whatever. But, so all that looks pretty good. What you also see, if you can see, is the sample exam schedule. What you'll also see, just so you'll hear about this as you register for fall, these are the class times that we have on the campus, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday. And over on the right, you'll see an adjustment to that. Most every college and university has pretty this same set time on Tuesday, Thursday, like 8 to 9:15, 9:30 to 10:45. Usually have 15 minutes breaks in between the classes. We have 10-minute breaks right now on Tuesday, Thursday, and I couldn't begin to tell you when classes start and stop because I'm just not used to it. But even my new provost said, why is our Tuesday, Thursday kind of all over the place? What we have done, we know most students and faculty don't want to teach from 2 to 2:50, 3 to 3:50, and 4 to 4:50 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we'll insert 2 times, a 2 to 3:15 time on Monday, Wednesday, and a 3:30 to 4:45 time on Monday, Wednesday as possible class times. Right now, I think there's a 3 to 4:15 class time. There's only one option for a 2-day a week in the afternoon. We're going to try to encourage the faculty to spread out the class offerings just a little bit more. I don't mean 8 o'clock and 5 o'clock, but for example, we only have 12 classes at 8 o'clock and only 18 at 9 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 48 at 11 o'clock. So it's either telling me the faculty don't want to be here so they schedule the class. I don't know if that's the case. Normally 9 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I didn't like 8 o'clock classes either, but 9 o'clock isn't so bad. So we're going to try to do a little better job of not stacking everything in, because then it's hard to get a full schedule. If you need 4 courses and 3 of them are taught at 11 o'clock, you know, and if you find periods on Tuesday, Thursday, they'll just 9:25. Depending on the schools, that's pretty much the way most of them do. In evening classes, I don't know if that affects any of you, but we're trying to come up with consistent times when classes are taught in the evening. So that as people are developing the fall schedule and you register for fall, you'll be seeing some little bit different time frames. Sometimes people get creative. You'll have a 11 o'clock class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the faculty member may decide, well, let's just go from 11 to 12:15 2 days a week. And you know, if you're in that class, you may say that's fine, but it prevents you from registering for the class at the next hour. And it also ties up that class for 2 periods, even though you're only using 15 minutes. So we've grown enough and we're a little more complex, so we got to be a little bit more consistent in our class starting and end times. So not to count exams and all. And if you do have a night class, you won't see any night classes in the exam period, because the night classes meet more than enough minutes. You're required to meet 2,250 minutes for a 3-hour class, counting exams. And the night classes meet like 2,500 minutes. So we're going to let folks know who are teaching evening classes, and those exams can be given their last regular day of class. So we're just trying to clean some stuff up that is, you know, pretty consistent, and not just I just want to change it because I'm new. I just want to try to make it a little better, hopefully for students. It's kind of tough when you're dragging in here at 8 o'clock at night taking an exam. It's at 9 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then you got to get up and take one the next morning. You know, so we try to be a little bit more intentional about when we schedule those. So what do you think? Good, bad, ugly? Make sense, or?
Makes sense, yeah.
I actually have the problem with I have a class that's meet at the same time for 2 different classes, and I have to alternate which one I go to.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
You did that.
Bad.
I'm assuming you worked that out with the faculty?
I did.
Okay, I was like, oh, that shouldn't have happened.
Luckily,
I don't think the
one of the
system allowed you
classes is
to.
my junior seminar class.
Really? Good, kind of for both.
Yeah, usually when you're trying to pick a class, you tell you have another class.
No,
at
so
the
the faculty
same
never
time.
did, the faculty never changed the time or something?
No, you have to get permission from the director of the who's
The
over it,
program.
of the program. And then you have to get it signed by both the teachers that it's okay.
Yeah.
And the administrators are fine.
Wow. So it's mainly vigilant.
Yeah.
You've probably heard me say this, but one of the things we're trying to explore, is to get a Chick-fil-A down, got everybody's attention there, down where the grill is, we're in negotiations, it's really expensive, Airmark has to pay for it. It used to be Chick-fil-A would come in and just do it because they wanted the business. But Chick-fil-A's gotten so popular, they expect you to pay for it. So it's pretty expensive, but we're trying to negotiate with Airmark to get that done. And then what we would probably try to do is move Subway and really fix up that kind of, what would you call it, Katie? I call it the
Back lobby of
back
Conrad.
lobby of Fritz Conrad and make it, kind of upgrade it some this summer, make it a nice hangout place with some lighting
That's
outside.
the commuter lounge.
And a commuter lamb, exactly, and then also have Subway there as well. So you have another place to go. And when I mentioned that, the students are pretty excited about it, but, it's probably gonna cost about $1.3 million because they'd come in and totally redo, it'd look like a regular Chick-fil-A down there. And then they would change your dining dollars and however that works, so you could afford to, eat there. But they'll either want us to pay so much, and they may want us to go up on prices a little bit, just to cover it over so many years. So we'll see. That's what I'd like to do. I know that's what the students want, but we don't want them all to make a bunch of money on us, and everybody needs to share in the cost. So we're working on that. That's about it for me today. I'm happy to come back anytime if you just want to, pick my brain about some things. The other big thing we're involved in, I'm sure Dean Katie's talked to, is our strategic plan. And we're using an outside group to help guide us through that, and they're actually coming, is it next week? To do some sessions with students.
You should
So you'll
probably
have an opportunity to talk about how you like to see things better. Our themes that we're looking at to drive our new strategic plan are an exceptional student experience in everything we do, academic excellence, trying to redefine and have a distinctive branding and identity, and then try to do things that'll make sure we have a thriving and sustainable future. And they're all it'll be a map that's on one page, so everybody will understand it. But they don't, and really it was our leadership team that said, you don't normally do this. We've had the board of trustees go through an exercise. We've had all the faculty and staff, and we said, we really need student input. We want to get the students involved in this. So they'll come in and spend a day doing a couple hours doing some little exercises that you'll go through, and it'll be some really good feedback for us to try to integrate into it. And so we look forward to your hopefully participating in that. Okay?
You all got the invitation?
No.
Okay. I'll call the other one and make sure.
I think they're coming the 25th.
Yeah, it's like a week or
10 a.m.
full week or so. I'll make sure everybody gets it though.
Thanks for letting me pop in. Yes, sir. You have some extra?
Yeah.
Sure. I didn't mean to kill too many trees today. And Rain, if we go through with this schedule, we'll get it out this week. We already have the 2021, 21, 22 done. We know when there's every football game, when homecoming is. So as you're doing your writing series, you'll know everything.
2 weeks before the game.
So you'll have it. Thank y'all. Thank you.
I was really freaking
At the same
out.
time. That's always like.
Well, on the original schedule, it was the same day. I was like, oh my God. People want to be
So
mad.
bear with me on, I don't know if the spring break being a week later than what I've listed is an issue for you or not.
Not really.
Care
We
what you
have
do.
one, right?
Exactly.
It's always on the group.
Somebody said if you're staying around here, it's too cold in March, early March anyway. Well, y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay warm out there.
Thanks for what all you guys do. I know you're not getting paid a lot to do all this work.
It's a snack every once in a while. Thank you. All right, sir. You're done.
If you would like to do that.
Gabby was supposed to show up, so I don't know where she's at, but I can do that now for
Woohoo.
Gabby. She's the one that's supposed to give out the information, so.
She actually, I saw her like yesterday or this morning, I don't remember, she mentioned like, yeah, I will be there.
Okay, I messaged her yesterday.
Probably she will arrive at 6:45, that's,
30 on this.
yeah, that's great. So you guys remember how we were talking about like doing like a project with some type of solar energy, and we were looking into the umbrella, the outdoor umbrella. We agreed on buying one. So the umbrella we were looking for, it didn't match the red that LR uses.
Burgundy, and so it didn't match any of the other red at all.
Yeah, so it was not a good idea to order that to just prevent any conflict. So we end up getting these lights. Basically, they're LEDs. So at the top, it has like a small panel, like solar panel receptor, and then you just put it in the normal umbrella. So we are gonna be able to fit them in the umbrellas we already have, and they are quite cheap. I don't remember the exact
The
price.
whole thing was like $79 for 6
Yeah,
of
we
them.
get 6 of these
So
for.
instead of $79 for one umbrella that's lit, you can get 6 umbrellas worth. So you could actually they work well. I would suggest you order more and have every single umbrella on this campus
So we're gonna be
lit up if you'd like.
giving them a chance and see how they work.
Yeah, one,
Mhm.
we were doing the solar umbrellas for recharging stations. These don't
Right.
recharge anything.
Mhm.
So
Other than
I
the
think
lights.
these are decorative, but they aren't environmentally, they don't improve our carbon footprint on campus. That's the only thing I'd say. I would say, we bought these already, let's put them up, but I wouldn't buy any
Keep looking.
more.
For the-
Because, like I said, the idea was to get a recharging station.
We talked about that when we were ordering them, and we couldn't find
Yeah.
one that had the other, but
And maybe we'll have to find two.
Did they have the umbrellas in black?
they, for $400.
What?
The one company that I could find.
What you got going on down there, Europe?
Did this come out of
Yes.
our budget?
Yes,
Okay.
70, actually I got the receipt right here. I can give it to you. It was $79 and some change. The change was, hold on. That's not right.
I got so confused.
I mean, $79, number 6. There was, well, 2 packs, but there's 6 total. $79.16. There you go. Which was basically the price of the original allocation.
Am I misremembering? It wasn't the idea of recharging stations?
That was the hope to have that as well.
Not just like,
To get the other, and that's what the burgundy one was gonna be so obtrusive to the other red ones. I know Dr. Hood has been very clear on making sure we have the right red and things like that, so I looked for a black one. Thinking I could just switch to different color.
Because
So
they're
they
like
have
red, red.
that in the meeting of the company except for one, they were charging $400.
What's our official
Yeah,
school?
yeah.
Is our color now Fred Red? I heard Fred Red somewhere.
That is, people call it Fred Red, but one of the things that the university is going to work on is not rebranding us, but making sure we clarify and understand what our brand is, and what colors we're gonna use. It's technically cardinal. This is purple. Right, and that's kind of a burgundy pineish color.
I'm not
so
gonna say because
it's
I always thought it was
it's called
burgundy.
cardinal, and it's 201 is the color code number. Cardinal and black, but
We do everything in
well,
burgundy.
certain companies,
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
companies it'll come out that color, certain companies will come out slightly different, darker. Some companies will come out bright red. I mean, it just, so we're trying to make sure, so we're partnering with a group that we will get this, we will make sure that we are consistent across all parts of the
I was
organization.
just wondering. I heard Fred
Yeah,
Red
there are people
from
who
like.
don't know Fred Red
I was like,
because
okay.
It runs with Fred.
It is
I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. I kind of went with.
Yeah, so, no, it's not actually called
There's
Fred
like a solar
Red.
panel here and
It's
then-
cardinal.
Can we have a short conversation about this though? Because I do think we wanna go green. Go ahead.
You can keep going, I'm sorry, I'm just, or I can make my point. We've kind of been, at least us back here, has been talking, we think, if we only have a few, I think we should get them all done, cause it's gonna look out of place if only a few umbrellas have the lights under it. But I completely understand, we wanna have a green footprint and lower our carbon, but at least have it contained where maybe all of Shaw Plaza, all of those umbrellas, or the one out here and over here, that they're all the same, so it's just not out of place. You get what I'm trying to say?
They need to be in a location where
All of them are.
all of them in that location
Yeah.
have this capability, so it doesn't look just weird that, cause then if you have some that don't have it and others, then people will fight over the few that you can sit under for ambiance out there, so.
And we were in our heads trying to think of how many umbrellas there actually were, from, I think there's only one outside the library and one back here and throughout shop. And I think we came up
Three
with
behind-
buy two more, from the ones
three
where we
behind
have,
Fritz
we might buy
Conrad.
two more.
3 on the front of the Cromer Center, and then there's like 9 on Shaw Plaza, and then there's 2 down outside of Mayor's Lair. And 1 in the quad, but the one in the quad, pretty
Wait,
sure the
I
trees
don't
will,
think that, yeah, that
it won't- it-
enough light.
the lights won't work, well, they would work for a little bit,
Yeah,
but
probably
it's
just
gonna
few
be
hours.
difficult to get enough sunlight to charge those in that particular spot.
How many did we buy in total of the,
There's just 2 boxes, there's
only
3 in a
two?
box, so
Okay,
it's,
well, we need more, but-
6,
trying to make sure it would even work.
6 lights.
I mean, it was worth $75 or $80 just to make sure, because if it doesn't work, and again, the concern of we really wanna make sure we have the charging stations as well on there. And there may be an add-on that we can have where it would do that, but this was kind of the compromise at the moment if we wanna have something, kind of a special thing to start off on this. That would start.
At least to show that we support green energy or the use of green energy.
Oh, shoot. Electrical cords to light up these.
So, yeah, that's what I have been doing. Then, Clayton, you are new.
Before you ask Clayton whatever it was, to go back to Dr. Brandis's point in terms of the charging stations, I know that's gonna be an important component for a lot of people to be able to charge while you're around campus. Do y'all carry charging cords just with you on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, cause I don't walk around with a charging cord.
This is
but if
Olivia's,
if-
she's letting me borrow.
Okay, but I would say if I, I just didn't, I thought, I would hate to install the stations and everybody's like, well, I don't have a cord. So if people are walking around with them, then that's just.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
common.
yeah, well, I've got one in my car and it sits there in the car at all times.
I don't know if
but-
you noticed this, but in Cromer at the bottom of
Oh, yeah.
they have the
They put 'em in
USB
there.
port.
Yeah, same in the not the gym, but outside of the basketball court.
Do they
Next to
have
the-
charging
the
stations
vending
on
machines.
campus?
Yeah.
Y'all never hear, just ignore me.
I never noticed
Okay.
it until
I just wanna make sure I wasn't completely crazy. I didn't wanna think that you don't do it. You don't care about it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, at least on the BP side, I've been talking to the class presidents, all except one, and that individual I meet after this meeting, just to kind of go over their strategic plan, for their class projects, and where they're at in those class projects. At least with everyone I've met, we have some really fantastic projects going on, some of which that could bring a lot of attention not only to SGA but the university, so it should be very exciting. And for Chief Justice, just to get that knocked out, there's no judicial reviews, no good conduct councils as of yet.
I will add though to your thing that we have had some students who were suspended because they had second violations of academic integrity and they claimed responsibility. So they claimed responsibility for the integrity violation, so they didn't have to put a student conduct counsel. And therefore, they immediately said the judicial review has to look at them, but that's, so just full disclosure there.
What is that? What is that called?
Judicial review.
No.
Academic
Academic integrity. They violated the code by a cheating violation.
Twice.
Oh, twice. One of them was, for one of the students, it was like a year ago, and then this was a second violation. But they claimed responsibility for both, so.
You think it'd be
There's
about
not a
one
lot of-
I would just stop.
What do you do?
Maybe that's just me. I literally called an eighth
So
grader
if-
cheating today,
So
so
the
like.
example, an easy example would be, I lifted my entire paper off of a website and I can prove it, the professor could prove it. So there's not a lot of reason not to, I have no idea how I have every single word of Encyclopedia Britannica on my paper. Most students, and hopefully y'all know this, most students really are pretty honest. Sometimes they get desperate and they do stupid things and lift parts and pieces of things sometimes. That's the most common thing you see. But the vast majority, when the rubber meets the road, if I ask them, did you do this? Like, yeah, I'm sorry, and so, but there are consequences with that, what they take. So sometimes the consequences aren't as bad as they take responsibility if you've really owned up to it. So, but yeah, it's usually so incredibly obvious that it's like, you're hard pressed to, and I've seen students you found not responsible for things, if they really didn't do it. I mean, you know, people will accuse them and then it's like, you know, there's really no evidence of this. This could actually have been a coincidence that we both made a 93 and we had the exact same questions answered the exact same way on our exam. Well, if it's a multiple choice exam, if we make that high, we should have some things that are the exact same. If we made 100, we'd have the exact same test. So, you know, sometimes it's very difficult to prove certain things, but flat out plagiarism, if that's what it is, it's usually cut and dry. Here's the source. Here's Bob's paper that we got last semester, and why do we have it? Here, the same paper, you know. Oh, I stole that. So.
Last semester, I accidentally had too many files put up, and I sent in a paper to a different class, and so it went through turn it in. So then I realized I messed up. So then when I turned it into the other assignment,
it went through turn
all
it in.
of it was red. I was like
It's
crying.
like, it's my paper.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I just plagiarized myself. I was like bawling my eyes out. I was like, oh my god, it's really
Yeah, that is one of the things. If it goes through turn it in, and you turn it in
It's
again,
terrifying.
just to check. If you checked it and you're like, oh, you know, look, I didn't cite this well, so you go back in and you turn it in again. It holds your paper, so it thinks you plagiarized that. So
But can't you like self-plagiarize or something? Isn't that
you
what it's
can
called?
actually, if you don't, you know.
The entire 5 pages.
Yeah.
The
If you don't have
entire
a-
5 pages.
Yeah.
It depends on the setting too. The faculty
Right.
can choose whether or not to identify student papers as
Yeah.
well.
It did say student paper Lenore, and I was like, well, that's me.
Which helps tremendously if it's you.
It was a really good paper. It was so good I submitted it to 2 classes.
Oh my gosh.
So that's your answer.
Year?
What's the
Alright.
balance?
So our budget is at $26,002 and 42 cents.
You said 42?
And that's because we gave Bear $750. Dean Katie, did that ever go through?
Which one?
The $750 for Bear. Dr. Knight.
Oh, I don't.
They haven't contacted me.
I honestly can't tell you if they did. I think it did, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. I know Donna was the right
That's a different thing.
And then we gave Model UN $1,200, and then we spent $79 on the umbrella lights. And I have 2 budget proposals to make. That's it.
I know one budget proposal is the PA program,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one.
Pi Kappa 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I missed a meeting. What happened year with the funding requests from the theater people?
Theater. I thought we took care of that.
Did we?
Did they?
Did we like match
Oh,
them or
yeah,
something?
I know what the problem was. I talked to, was his name Lucas?
Bless you.
Thank you.
I know his last name. I talked to him, and by the time we were going to like be able to give them their stuff, like it would have been too late.
So
I guess we need to find out
did
if
they
were,
withdraw their application for funding?
I'm not sure. I just told him that it wasn't going to be. He wanted it before we went on our winter break, and I told him that wasn't possible because we had already had our last meeting, and then we never discussed it either.
I would recommend that they come back and ask for a reimbursement at least, if they had actually sent the proposal in before, we just didn't have time. Worst
Okay.
case, you give them a little bit, and best case, you give them the whole thing.
I'll reach out again.
Thank
Can't
you.
hurt.
So I sent an email out, I know it's thankfully back, even though I'm not 100% tonight. Sent an email to Lakeisha, sent to the December grads, not sure if that went out, but I sent a little,
I didn't get a copy of it.
yeah, so I sent it out before, just kinda like a little congratulations, everything like that, be sure to think about getting back in the OR. Need to meet with her, I'm gonna email her, and now that we kinda get through this first week of classes, and schedule a time to kind of follow up and meet probably bi-weekly or monthly. I've talked to Erin Bessie about the front porch. The front porch has no kind of licensing, so someone's actually paid for it. The construction company actually paid for the signage, but they don't care what we put there. So it's going to be kind of a two birds, one stone for them because they're getting an upgraded kind of signage area, and it would be nice because it's making that area just look better on campus.
What was it called before?
It was the front porch. Yeah, it was.
Front porch for a long time.
They used to have a radio station out there way back in, like probably 10+ years ago.
There's those rocking chairs.
Mhm.
There were different chairs, there were white rocking chairs, and it had at one point lattice and some different things. And so it looks better now that it's better kinds of chairs out there, but.
One chair got broken on Sunday. I don't know if it's on the porch, if it's like near the swim where that tree fell.
Cause there's two sets of them, the chairs.
Yeah, that tree fell Sunday morning when it iced. I don't know if it was on.
So, and then two more things. Working on a t-shirt design. Probably going to be doing the same thing that Haley did last year, where the funds go to the t-shirt as a matching gift for donations from the senior class towards the senior class gift on giving day or whatever. Trying to get student artwork from a actual senior that's graduating, so that'll be cool and also save money, so we're not having to use licensing fees for different artwork. And then I just need to find like a catalog where we can start looking at actual kind of outside equipment for the chairs. And that's it.
So I'm going to Lowe's and Home Depot tomorrow to figure out the exact amount for the wood and everything for the junior hands-on LR. Thomas really liked the idea. I proposed it to the rest of the group and nobody else has got back with me. I think I'm down to 4 people on my board now. So that's going. I'm also looking into SGA shirts like we had proposed a long time ago. If I can, the guy's going to do them. He's in Taylor School. And as soon as I actually get to talk to him, because he's been in Florida and he's driving back today, so hopefully he'll be there tomorrow. He will give us the kind of the proof, and I'll propose it next time. And hopefully, he usually gets them done really quick. So by the next meeting, we should have them if y'all approve it. The next one. And that's it.
Alright, basically today I got the okay from the athletic department, from everyone that I needed to get the okay from to have the spring bazaar. So now what is going to happen is we are going to set up and schedule the vendors to show up. I will be sending out an email tomorrow to all of the student organizations asking if they would like to have a table set up, a tent set up, and stuff like that. It will be in the stadium parking lot in the upper 2 rows, I guess that's what you call them. It'll be in the upper 2 rows. We are attempting to have a live band performance. The band performance won't be able to start until 6 p.m. because of the men's lacrosse game that will be happening that day, but that's fine. We can set them up in front of the statues. If you guys are familiar with that area right there. Maybe I will talk to Mike Hanlon and see if we can set up some chairs even and get some people to sit out there. The Bears Club, they were attempting to do an event of the same magnitude. I think it was around the same time as well. So I may be working hand in hand with them, and we may be having like a double huge event on the same day, and then the live performance will be moved down to the stadium where they will be holding their event. I will let you guys know more once I know more about that. I will have a budget proposal for how much we need for funding by the next SGA meeting, and then we are going to start marketing this. We're gonna start having flyers put up, going to the Hickory, I might say this wrong, the Hickory City Commission, and going to the Hickory City Commission, telling them about it, getting them flyers, getting the word out that way, having it go out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, talking to the marketing department and seeing if they can post stuff up there. Clayton had the good idea of going to the Hickory Daily Record and seeing if we can make an ad for it there. Also, contacting a local radio station and seeing if we can get some advertisement that way. So basically, like I said today, I got the okay, the final okay that I needed, and now the ball is going to actually start to get rolling. And the event should be a go. There's going to be some hiccups, but yeah, I'll let you guys know how everything's going. Yeah.
I tried to plan a concert in the football parking lot. Just make sure talk to the electrician because they need 2 separate breakers.
Yeah, we know.
They talked about putting it over close to the statues because
Yeah,
they can
cool.
pull it right from the building.
Yeah, that was a complication.
Yeah, that was the big thing.
Yeah.
She had a question.
Oh, well, I was just gonna tell you, CG Sparks, she graduated like 2 years ago, but she works for the Hickory Daily Record.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
So,
She could definitely market
because
that.
I'm already asking her about stuff for like my student teaching, but cool.
Thank you.
I was just gonna ask, who did you say you were pairing with or working with to make the double the event? Who was it? I missed it.
The Bears Club.
Bear. Okay. That's right.
And Brett, what's that, date again?
April 13th.
April 13th.
Saturday.
Yeah. Any questions? Any comments? Anything? Any ideas? Alright, cool.
How many people are working with you?
Dean Katie, Otis Pitts,
Janet
Norris
Matthews.
Yoder, Janet Matthews, Aaron Bessie.
What about students? That's what I'm.
I mean, I have
Big group.
5 people in my sophomore class, and they know people and stuff like that.
Great, good.
Mhm.
Congratulations.
Olivia.
Alright, so I'm still working on getting my freshman class council numbers down. So I'll talk to you and Katie after the meeting. Right now I'm at 14 and there's only supposed to be 6, so we'll work on like the final process to get the numbers down to 6. We started like planning the details of the color run that we want to do as our class event. We would like it to be Sunday, March 3rd at 1 o'clock. Just based on like the sports
You said
events.
Sorry, Sunday, March what?
3rd
Third.
at 1 o'clock. Is that the color run? Yeah, the color run. And we're hoping to have it on the intramural field. And then we'll have like a run at 1 o'clock and a walk at 1:30. We want to reach out to staff and faculty if they want to man the color stations where they throw the colors at the students or at the runners.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
Shouldn't be so quiet, so I'm happy about that.
I was gonna say, what would be really good is, when we did last year, the Bears Fit Games to the intramural, they did, one of the events that they had to run, like, it was on, not the intramural field, but the farther field down. You know what I'm talking about, like, down where the baseball field is, and there's that trail back there. So they did, so they did a whole route through
Yeah.
there.
The problem was, at this point, after that tornado and everything,
Yeah, it's
almost all of it got destroyed,
Yeah.
so.
You need to be careful down there too, because there's snakes in there.
I'd be
Well,
less
for
worried about the
idea.
snakes. I dug around there for about an hour one day looking for rockets that I accidentally shot off into the woods. I said, "You want to shoot one?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, afraid it's gonna reach. All the rest of them came floating back down exactly where they did. I was not happy.
Did you find the rocket?
It's probably in a tree. So if you ever see a rocket in a tree, and all I did is I just pushed it button.
Field bio would be down there, so don't forget to fan about that.
Exactly. Somebody will be down there that can look for it.
Olivia, you could also email the head track and field coach
Okay.
and see if he could tell us to volunteer to like stand out there and throw the paint at people.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. So we're gonna see if faculty and staff wanted to, and then we're gonna reach out to the sports teams, or we are gonna invite fraternities, sororities, and clubs to have tables for fundraising. So we'll do the run and the walk, and then they can have tables, and we're hoping to have music and food trucks, and then they can have events and raise money for their philanthropies. And then after that, we'll have a color war, where if the students go to a certain number of tables, like 2/3 of the amount of tables that there will be, then they can get the color packet to participate in the color war. And then we're gonna look into shirts. They would be like white with black lettering, so that they'll like get the colors on and be colorful at the end. and we're gonna look for having food trucks and then music, whether it's live music or just music that we play ourselves. And yeah, that's pretty much all.
Okay. Is, okay.
So on January 24th, we have the Carolina movie theater
I'm walking out of SGA.
all day. It'll be all day, and we have like a couple movies you can choose from. And we'll know what the movies are on this coming Thursday because they're gonna let us know a week before the event. But you go and you go get your show your ID and you get a free drink and free popcorn with the movie. And then our next event will be at Defy. We've rented Defy out, and the whole yes, from 7:30 to 9:30, and we'll pay up to 200 students to come, and you'll get free socks, and you can jump for the full 2 hours.
What day is that?
February 5th.
Okay.
7:30 to 9:30.
It's a Tuesday.
Was that a trampoline?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It's where HHJ used to be.
I know, yeah.
The best part is that they have to stand and jump over the
Nine
bars coming
thirty.
in.
You said February.
Yours are like,
Yes.
watch over that.
I'm excited because I just
Right.
like the trampoline parks.
Yes.
I think the only thing I have to report is the community breakfast is Friday from 9 to 11. You're all invited, by the way. Okay, it's free. I invited you. You guys help run it. Pretty much, yeah.
What time is it again?
9 to 11.
So it's 18.
Yeah. It's in the seminar room in the cafeteria.
Seminar room.
Seminar room.
Ooh, I should talk
In
to
the
Tia
cafeteria.
about that. But I know I've talked to Tia.
Then we're gonna raffle off.
Excuse me, folks, let's say up one conversation at a time. Can't hear, I'm old.
We're gonna be raffling off some emus and
What?
Enos, that's it. It's like raffling off animals. It's been a long day. Okay. And a solar power charging back.
Solar. Or charging?
Pack. Battery pack. Yeah. I got one myself. This is the one that raffling off, by the way. That's all I got.
Dr. Brandis, do you want a shirt too when I go and order one?
What's gonna be on them? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Well, I'll show you what it's gonna be on there the next, but I was just gonna have like the sizes to kind of know how many and what size.
Sure.
Then just very quick before we jump into the our guesses for the fund request. The new person that's joining us today was it's Tyler. This is when I like introduce her. She may be joining us in future meetings as well.
Okay, do you want me to talk about some of the Eisenhower stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody likes the new crosswalks that are going from, like, you know, the roads.
Yeah.
But I went and talked to the,
Yeah, they're gonna put the real poles up soon. Those are temporary, the wooden,
oh,
is
okay.
temporary, they're gonna put real poles, like real metal poles up.
Okay.
So go ahead, I'm sorry.
And I talked with some of the RAs in Eisenhower, and they said that it would be a good idea if we could get those put also going from the stadium parking lot over to like the fields.
We have tried that, the one holdup on that at the moment, and they're actually gonna change the way the roads are.
Okay.
And they're gonna start this next summer. When you come around that corner, cause that's where people have actually been hit.
Right.
You have to do it there with the ambulance and everything. When they come around that corner, coming from Fritz Conrad's side, coming around that corner, that crosswalk from the stadium parking lot to the soccer field, that is a main thoroughfare for emergency vehicles. And the problem is because it opens up to, you have parking on both sides of the road, and it opens up to 2 lanes. The city's plan is to actually make a bike lane all the way from downtown, all the way down past Lenore Ryan, all the way down over toward Viewmont. And so when that occurs, then but they would not put a special crosswalk like there because of the road is too wide for the amount of time it takes to go across. And so that's why they did one at I coming across and the one there at the other one, but they won't do that one yet. So I would say we still keep push for it and keep asking, cause then they understand we know how important it is, but I've been told in about 3 different meetings, that's not what they're gonna do, so. There you go, that's what I know right now on that.
Just making sure I got this right. Where are you suggesting? You said the stadium parking?
They said from the stadium parking lot over to the fields. And then also a lot of the baseball players, when they walk over to the field, they cross just going straight
All over the place.
over.
Literally.
Yeah, so that's also been something, they thought maybe add another crosswalk
Or just
or
walk
something.
down a few feet and use the
Yeah.
actual crosswalk?
They're like this.
That's too easy.
That's too easy.
Poor baseball
Yeah.
players.
And the hot water in Eisenhower, some of the floors have hot water, but a lot of them don't have like any hot water at
Yeah,
all.
actually I have the same problem in Morgan. I communicated to Charlie a few times already,
Okay.
but it's sometimes it's not warm enough, and in the cold weather it's not enjoyable.
I know that Fritz Conrad had that problem at one point, so if you're the only person trying to take a shower, cause there's like one big hot water heater for like the whole building, so if everybody's showering, hot water's trying to go a lot of, not together. Everybody's, maybe so, you know. So anyway, so hot water's going all over the building, and so it's easy to get hot water out of your tap, but if only one person, all the cold water that has built up before it's coming out of the hot water into the pipe, that's what, so if you're taking showers at times where like lots of people happen to be taking showers, you're gonna get better hot water. I don't know if it's the same case in the others. You shouldn't have to count on that, frankly. I mean, so, but that's what we've been told about maintenance. But I'm gonna write this down. So, is it hot water in Ike and then in Morgan?
Yeah.
Are there other places besides? And I know Fritz Conrad's always been an issue. So
Well,
they
they
cold water.
They said it's pretty good this year.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's a
live in
miracle.
Fritz,
I
so
wonder if
it's
they.
really good now.
Okay, so maybe we
Yeah.
need to check on. Okay, I'll.
But it's
I'll
just
Morgan had
spotty,
cold water
like
4 years
sometimes
ago. I don't know why.
and we can't see like the
Yeah,
common
they did.
pattern.
Okay, I'll ask that they check the water heaters then.
Also, inconsistent air temperature. Some floors have super hot, some have super cold. It just kind of depends.
It happens.
Yeah. And then the far right washing machine has been making these crazy noises. Like
What floor?
the far right washing
Oh, in
machine.
Ike.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then the top two dryers, they dry, but they don't dry all the way.
And then dryers.
He has to put it
Oh,
in after all.
Oh, so partially dry.
The top two.
Top two.
Mhm.
Dryers, top two. Okay.
I think it's like, what is it, 25, 50 cents, something like that, and do a little bit on there.
We're actually I'm sorry. I was gonna say something. I need to. Okay. I was gonna. One of the things that Dr. Witt has asked Jonathan Rink to look into would be to determine what it would cost to make all laundry on campus free. Now, it is a high cost, which is okay with me. In the big scheme of things, I would rather you have hot water than free washing. Not to say that one, but if you gotta pick, I'd rather be safe and be warm than the other. But they are looking into that to see if it's feasible, and if it's feasible, then the caveat, and everybody probably can figure out the caveat, if it's free, when it doesn't dry quite enough at the right, if you have to run through 2 or 3 cycles, no one's gonna care.
Yeah.
So when you're paying for it, they're like, all right, let's get on it, so that's just the reality of how, if things were free, people don't worry about it, so, but we are looking into it to see if it's a feasible thing, so, we know it's $37,000 a year at this point to do it, so. For all washing.
That's a big perk though.
Yeah.
It would be a big perk.
Like that would be really kind of like a selling point on a tour because
Yeah.
it's
That
all
would
kind
be.
of free
Just, yeah.
printing and they're like, they freak out, so that's huge.
Even though it takes forever to
So,
print
something that we're looking at.
This is, I guess, kind of on top. I'm just curious, and I don't want to comment. I don't even live on campus, but
It's all right.
are you servicing that out to a company? Or?
Yes, it's a group
Okay.
called Matt Gray. So they've been our vendor for several years. My understanding from Jonathan is that Matt Gray, the main people at Matt Gray are looking to sell their company, which at that point, because we've got 1 more year on our contract, so that's what we're investigating now, if there's a way for us to buy all the washers and dryers and just have them service them on occasion, but not actually, because right now, what they do is they supply them, they service them, they take charges, and that's how they make their money. Well, we've gotta pay somebody to do this, because we don't have the expertise to fix washers and dryers all the time, and we don't want them all to go down. process to do that, so, but that's who it is. It is an outside company right now.
Okay.
But they got one more year on their contract.
That's all I had.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We can proceed with our guesses.
Okay, before we begin, I went to our group meet, and we actually gave theater $900.
Great.
And I believe, Dean Katie, you said you were.
We probably, I'll check it, but I'll make sure the money went over.
Okay.
Thank you for
So,
checking your.
Is that when we voted?
Yeah.
On group meet.
$100 per person. It was like
Yeah.
nice. Okay, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
So and that leaves our budget at $25,102.42. Okay.
He's going.
Have we been on minutes yet from the last meeting?
The last
meeting?
We
What?
haven't.
Approve the minutes.
Approve the
You
minutes.
didn't approve.
Oh.
We had like 2 meetings. Just checking. I just want to ask.
You're right. We haven't.
And you have this group out here that's been waiting very patiently.
Yeah, I
since
was
10
gonna,
o'clock.
Yeah.
I was
We can-
also gonna say, we're at 7 o'clock, so we need to be really efficient and
What time was this?
zero in.
You have the room till 8:30, don't go till 8:30, please. Just saying.
Yeah.
I can watch
Let's-
The
let's
Bachelor,
vote
so we all
for
need
this
to.
We got some new business we need to talk about.
Okay, so we can move.
You got some Brett. Are we good?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're all dressed up really nicely. Prepared for the shop. Yes.
Josh.
When Josh did it on
He's just
sweatshirt.
in his-
That was jeans. I saw him, I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I have a budget.
And
I was like,
I
oh boy.
would have changed before I came here, but I worked out.
Yeah.
Do they pay student fees?
There's nobody who pays student fees, it's all just money. I'm telling you, our budget is not dependent on any student fees. SGA is just, they hand me money every year and they say, give SGA money.
Wow, that's a
So,
pretty good deal.
It is, except for the fact that I only have $337,000 for all student services. Every bit of it, all of it. 3 campuses, $337,000.
Wow.
And that's counseling, that is health services.
Oh, that's
$100 and-
Salaries too.
Rolling.
Every bit.
Clayton.
Yeah, I can.
So we give.
Can you turn the camera around on them?
Can
This
you?
is getting just.
Do you want me to?
Just-
I can. I mean,
No, you
Alright, Joshua, who's gonna go first?
Who's first?
Alright, my fault. So anyways, so what I presented the proposal for was we recently just had to go to our nationals chapter officer training, and basically what that entails is like we all sit through like meetings and stuff, and like it was down in Charlotte, and they just talked to us about like how to run our positions and better like be involved on campus and everything, and like help out with the school and like our own chapter. And so we spent Friday evening through Sunday around noon in Charlotte, and it cost a little bit over $200 a person.
What's this group? What's your group?
Oh, I got the 5, I'm sorry.
The fraternity.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
And how much were you asking for?
We initially had asked for, I think it was $1,600, but we paid a little bit more off of it since then, so now we need like $1,250, I think. And then as for raising money, we have had brothers that have went over and like just done like miscellaneous cash for alumni and stuff to like raise money, and we've also pulled money from like dues and whatnot to help pay for it, but we're still also paying on a insurance payment, so the money would be very helpful.
So essentially what this conference is, it teaches our current chapter officers to more effectively do their task. The kind of bring back for the university is if you have more people that are well equipped for their position, then they're able to come and make a better impact on the campus and the community and just kind of the Greek life and university as a whole. So we did not request for any travel expenses, no dining expenses, so everything that's coming on is registration and hotel. So
Do y'all happen to have the receipts for all that? The registration and hotel for what y'all paid out? or
It was
already
just,
did?
it was billed from national, so we
Okay.
can bring the exact
They can
bill.
get you actually.
Yeah, but they gave us a breakdown, your
Okay.
has our breakdown in our budget proposal,
Just send it to everyone.
yeah, so, sorry.
So it'd just be registration and what?
It's gonna be, the breakdown is like registration fee, hotel room for 2 nights, I mean, we were in there with 4 people to
Yeah.
3 beds,
Tight.
so.
Tight.
It was pretty tight,
Yeah.
but this is something that every single year we do, and we usually self-fund for that. This year, there was an insurance upgrade, to $50 a man regarding everything that's going on in the life of Greek life right now. So this is the first year we've actually requested for SGA support.
I will speak on behalf of Pi Kappa Phi National at least. I think the local fraternity is very good. And that's why, you know, if you've got the receipts, then it can show this is really what we spent and all that. But I will say the National Pi Kappa Phi fraternity at that level in Charlotte that I visited, they do excellent leadership training and those types of things. So from that standpoint, I can almost guarantee you what you got while you were there would have been very good content. So from that standpoint, you know, I think this was worthy. I will say, and we don't do a lot in arrears from Roy Hill, but make sure that whoever's going next year, that y'all ask Roy Hill for money, because we actually do some, for leadership type events, so we can maybe help with that as well, so for next year's group. That way you can spread out your funding requests.
Perfect, yeah, I agree.
Just so you know.
Yeah, I didn't even know that happened, but perfect.
Leadership, yeah. Money to give away.
So with that, have y'all pulled up the budget proposal? Yeah.
So this says 1,735. Is that the amount, or is it 1,250?
We paid more since then, because I mean, we went like almost 2 weeks ago.
So we are asking now for 1250.
Yes.
Okay. So we probably need to can we amend that here, or okay? And we would like to amend that value to $1,250 and 0 cents. So we're asking for less.
Does anyone have any questions for Joshua?
How many of you went?
We had
4,
10.
you said?
We had 10 members go.
Oh, okay.
So 10 members went.
Gotcha.
And so the impact is $125 roughly a person.
So are these officers that are going to be serving, or they have been serving and they just met this time?
These are newly serving officers.
We got
So-
elected in November.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, how much have you paid roughly by yourself as a fraternity?
Like, just for this one thing?
Yeah.
Like a little bit over $800.
Okay. Have you asked I don't know what you guys call them, maybe like past members, alumni?
Alumni helped us out as far as giving us opportunities to go raise money, such as raking leaves and everything like that.
Here's a job in my yard. kind of
Yeah,
thing.
so they're not just gonna give money, especially with our alumni networking has not been the greatest in the past, but now that we have someone that went to this function that's able to actually be effective in their position, we're starting to get more and more support coming in. But financially, they again gave us odd jobs to do as far as just housework and stuff, so that was their impact.
Okay, anything else? Alright,
Thank you,
thank
Josh.
you, Josh. I will let you know what happens.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Have a great night.
Am I good to go?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're good. Alright, so next we have the PA program.
Hi guys, we're the PA program.
everyone.
You don't see much of us because we're in a separate building off campus.
Oh, we're here.
It's good to meet all of you. I'm Robert, I'm the vice president of the class of 2020.
I'm Jeannie, I'm the treasurer. I'm Sarah, I'm the AAPA representative. You'll know what that is in a second.
And I'm Logan Barkley, I'm the Student Society president, so it's good to meet all of you.
So, like I said, I'm the AAPA representative. Specifically, I'm what they call the Assembly of Representatives chair, which is basically the student policy and political organization of the National Association of Physician Assistants. So I kind of act as the liaison between our national branch and like our school, which is really cool. And how that brings me in front of you today is we are requesting $5,525. A lot of money, I know. To send 5 students to our national conference students in May to compete in a challenge bowl that about 80 schools compete in across the country. And we sent a team last year, and we did very well. And they represented my program phenomenally, and we're hoping to do the same better. So, the Challenge Bowl, like I said, is a national competition. It's more for fun, but really what it represents is your program kind of putting students out there, showing what you know, competing against other programs. It's a great way to network as well. And it's one event that occurs, and it's the larger 4-day conference. And during this conference, it's for students and PAs. I think there were over 1,000 practicing PAs there last year, maybe more. And it's a great opportunity to network. The student assembly representatives and the practicing PAs, House of Delegates, meet during these conferences to talk about policy goals for the profession as a whole, and like make political change kind of at the grassroots level. So it's a great opportunity for us as students to get involved, and for our program to kind of make a name for ourselves at the national level. Our program's only in its 3rd year, so we're pretty new. We're still kind of building our reputation, and this conference really helps us put that right foot forward. So students, what we gain is networking opportunities, professional development. We kind of get a larger perspective of the PA profession, more so than what we get just in our program. Get to talk to other students, other faculty, and as the class of 2020, we're also looking further into the future at jobs where we can kind of represent our education well. And then the program itself, just by the way that we handle ourselves at the conference, you know, people ask, oh, where are you from? And we get to proudly say Lenore. So it's a really great opportunity. Why do you need funding? Like I said, we're a new program, so we don't have a lot of alumni support. A lot of other PA programs have really strong alumni endowments that actually give scholarships to students to go to this conference. I have a couple friends in other programs, and they sent like 10 students last year just based on alumni funding. We only have one graduating class of 20 students, so we hope to build that network later, but at this point we just don't have that funding and financial support. As far as fundraising for us, we have done car washes, we've worked the concession stands at the football games, and all of that that's just general fundraising for our program. And that money has gone to charities, so we support CCM, which is the free clinic, and we also supported, as part of PA Week, this organization called Stomp and Lobster that supports patients going through cancer therapy. So we have been fundraising, but it's not enough. So yeah, and I don't know if y'all know, like we had 20 credit hours last semester, so we're very busy all the time too, which, you know, isn't an excuse not to fundraise, but we have a lot on our plate. So which is why you don't see us around very much. But yes, and just a little pitch of why we think the university should support us. Like I said, when we go to these conferences, we're not just representing our program, we're representing our whole university, and the way we conduct ourselves really reflects back on our school as a whole. So not only the PAs, but LR's 3+2 program and the entire College of Health Sciences as well. So we think we're doing a great job preparing future students. Our first class had 100% first pass rate for the PANTS, the national certifying, like the test that you have to take to become a PA, which is like unheard of for a new program. So we're doing really great things, and this conference funding is just one more step in the right direction. And knowing that we have the university support would be pretty invaluable.
Does anyone have any questions?
How did you or will you pick the 5 students that will attend the conference?
Yeah, so we're in the process of doing that right now. we had to do it based on not getting any financial support, so just students who would be interested, keeping that in mind. And then we did a selection based on academic merit, as well as we did a class vote based on who we wanted to see represent our program.
Can I mention something?
Yeah.
I'm the faculty advisor for them. It's also, one of the factors that figured in also is, academic merit, but also who can think fast when we're selecting our team. So, students that finishes their test, who score, at high levels, that's also figured in. We want a team that's going to potentially win it. So, and
The only team from North Carolina that's ever won was Duke, and that was like 10 years ago.
Take them down.
So, you're called the Powell Passauer PA Student Society? Yeah, so is this an endowed society? Or just a name society?
just a name.
Okay, all right. And if you don't receive any funding, are you still sending your team?
We're gonna try. Like I said, all funding would have to come out of pocket. Both Robert and I attended the conference out of pocket last year, and I used my entire tax return from the year before. And I don't have that money this year, so I don't know what's gonna happen. We're all, like, there's no scholarships to attend PA school,
Sure.
so we all have student loans, lots and lots of student loans. So yes, that would be a challenge for us, for sure. We would try.
I drove to New Orleans,
You
which
did.
was a testament to my faith. And I stayed in a room with 6 other people, so we were trying to cut corners everywhere we could to try and save money.
But it was a great opportunity.
Have you guys looked at instead of airfare to try to actually save money by driving?
So I think to drive from here to Denver is double the distance.
That's Colorado. Not Denver, North Carolina.
So we have clinical rotations that start in May. So we have our white coat ceremony at the beginning of May, and then we'll have 2 weeks of clinical practice and whatever anyone has for their first one. And then you'll have a week off to go to this conference, and then start again following week. So 2 days each way to travel. I'm not sure if I could swing that with my supervisory position.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
You guys are going in March? It's in May. Okay.
But you need it by March.
I just put an arbitrary date. I didn't know how far in advance to plan, so that would be great.
This helps them.
But
Planning is part of it, that does help.
I'm a planner, so.
When are your conference fees due?
So I think we can register up until the end of April.
Is there an early bird rate?
There is early bird.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
When is that?
End of January.
End of January, yes.
So you
Okay.
really need to know soon.
If possible,
And
yes.
I imagine airfare would be cheaper this
Yes,
week.
that's
Figure
more
that
of what
as
I was
well.
thinking. Airfare prices are cheaper.
Will faculty be going with you or just the students? Just students?
They will be factored into the
Okay,
5.
factored
Oh, no,
into
not
it.
into
Okay.
that.
Okay. But we do have one of our new professors is coming, and Professor Reed is possibly coming still.
The problem is, my daughter's birthday is May 20th, and the conference every year is over my daughter's birthday, so if I go to this year, I'll be missing my daughter's birthday 2 years in a row, and that doesn't sit well for a 10-year-old.
Oh, she's gonna be 10.
She'll be 11 this year.
You know, she probably would like Colorado.
Then I gotta pull her out of school.
Everybody can have a big party there.
Alright, does anyone else have any more questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time. We really
If anybody's
appreciate
interested
it.
in the PA profession,
Yeah,
like,
come
the program
talk to
too,
us.
like, come by anytime.
Budget code,
Like,
that's
we love
actually
having people over there.
Regularly,
I'm not
the
gonna
first
go.
part of it as well.
It was good to meet you. Thank you for having us.
Whatever it is,
Thank you.
900, it's 5.
That's
us. Yeah, just send it to me.
They're students out.
Yeah, so if they do award money,
Okay.
I'll be able to move it.
I will.
Thank
Thank you.
See you later.
Okay, so first up, Pi Kappa.
Oh, you have to.
Can we change the?
Yeah, do the other
order?
one first,
Yeah.
because Matt's gotta leave We know talk
Okay.
about
Yeah.
back at
Yeah,
5.
sounds
I have to,
So do the first one so he doesn't have to leave, stay, and then come back, so.
We're talking about the,
We'll go PA first then.
okay.
So PA, they're asking for $5,525. That's $230 for 5 nights, 3 rooms, and then for 5 students, $165 for their conference fees, and airline cost is $250 per ticket. I don't think we've ever covered conference fees.
We've done conference fees, but we haven't done like food and other costs. I would, if of the two, I would think it's more important to cover the actual conference fees, because that's the actual academic aspect of this. How they get there and all those things, and I'm not saying not give it to them. I mean, if I just picked a number, I'd go give them $2,000 and then be done with it, but you'd have to figure out what the justification is. You know, they didn't ask for food, they didn't ask for some other parking and things like that for the airport and all that. And again, $250 might be cheap. That might be cheap flights, which is fine.
And she even said that was just a guesstimation. 'Cause
Right,
they
and so
might
it
be
very
okay.
well, I mean, like I say, I'm flying 2 days from now, and mine's $600, and I bought it
Are you
4
going
months
out
ago.
already?
No, I'm going to the beach with some friends,
Ooh.
so I'll be gone, so anyway, have fun time go this weekend, so, a whole bunch of my girlfriends, we're all get together.
Good.
Um,
And my add to that, I would say that those early bird, registration fees are important. They'll save, maybe $50 a student. And also the same thing with the airline costs. So you said 2,000, you might wanna consider the bottom 2 items and let them figure out their hotel rooms. Maybe they can get 6 people in 1 room.
and depending on the genders and things like that, they might do 2 rooms instead of get a
Three.
rollaway, 2 beds and a rollaway in one of the rooms, because unless we have there's a possibility, I don't know who all's going, and that's the question. Unless someone you're either gonna have males, females, or gender neutral. And somewhere in there, 3 people should be able to stay together, 3 of the people, unless you've got 4, but if you have 4 women and 1 male, again, 4 women could stay in the room together. If you had to, or vice versa, or whatever, so I'm not sure 3 rooms
Is it
necessary.
Well, I mean, they didn't say anything about it, but I know sometimes like we have conferences for Zeta, and they have a discount for the hotel. Maybe their hotel has a discount. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they might have to do it.
Because conferences, a lot of times they do that.
if it's in the hotel, yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's a possibility.
So to give you an idea, if you combine the conference fee and the airline cost, that will be $2,075. And then the rest to go until 5,500 is gonna be just hotel rooms. So more than half is hotel rooms.
If we do 2,075 divided by 5, they're each gonna get $415.
Which is higher than we normally give, but then again, that's,
But we have
there's nothing wrong with that, cause if they're competing in their, they did have a very.
And it is a good new
Like-
program, to get that established.
Yeah. I don't see the problem with giving
Yeah.
them money.
Alright, motion to give them $2,000. Or 2,000, what was it, 2,075? Yeah, $2,075.
Okay, so motion for $2,075. Is there any second?
Second.
It's
2,075?
yes. All those in favor say yeah.
Yeah.
All those opposed say nay. Okay.
Any abstentions?
Any abstentions there? Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
Great, so the motions carry over,
Good job.
and the PA program will get $2,075 to cover the conference fee cost and the aircraft cost.
See you.
So,
Alright, so Pi Kappa, they are asking for $1,250. If I heard correctly, they each paid $800. Right? That was your
No.
No,
proposal?
that was the
it was
total.
$800 total.
That's It's
But-
not.
Oh,
They each pay about $80.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they
So
were-
the remaining is still being 1,250.
Mhm.
Good.
No,
Do
it's-
any other sororities or fraternities request funding like this? Do they have that option?
Pi Kappa's come a few times.
I'm sorry, what?
Pi Kappa's come a few times.
Yeah.
Okay, and have we
Zay
funded
was asked
them?
money for
Kappa
Kappa
Delta
Delta
is-
has
Yeah,
support,
there's
good money for.
Wasn't that the theater?
I think those are the only,
Yeah.
I don't know if Sigma Kappa's ever asked for money.
But we have funded it.
Yeah, we funded others before.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that on the bottom thing. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, they go and they learn a lot because they every time I see they post something, they come back with awards and certificates of how well they've been doing within the fraternity and each member of what they do and as they hold up their position or being a leader. So they came back with a couple plaques or something. So it really does help. So.
And I do think leadership is something SGA should support to the best of its ability. Because that does have returns for the entire campus.
Pi Kappa Phi really, I mean, there's days, and y'all can repeat it or not, there's days where and this goes for every sorority and every fraternity on this campus, so I'm not just talking about Pi Kappa. Everyone can act like a knucklehead at some point or another, and I wanna throttle them.
Yeah.
But that national fraternity, as a national one, they are far more engaged than just about any Greek organization on this campus. That fraternity lets us know what's going on. So whatever they got while they were there, it was good stuff. That is one of the few organizations that I can actually absolutely tell you every time, if we need something, they are on it. And luckily, part of that's because they're in Charlotte. So, you know, whatever they got there, I don't have a doubt that it wasn't something pretty darn good. You know.
If we divide 1250 out by 10, $100.25 per person. And okay, I'm gonna make a motion to give $100 per student that went, so that's $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
$5 a piece.
Yeah.
$100 per student.
Great. So motion for $1,000 for Pi Kappa Phi. Sorry. Is there any second?
Our second.
All those.
Sorry,
Alright.
All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
And all those opposed say no. And anyone abstain? It's on side. So the motions carry over. And
Actually, you have one abstention.
yeah.
He's considered as abstaining.
Yeah.
So you have one abstention.
Oh.
James, Harpy, Matt. His email's James Cannon, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion carry over and Pi Kappa Phi will get $1,000 for the leadership event.
Well done.
No, it's still here.
Very
He has to
efficient,
go and
folks.
talk to Clayton afterwards.
Great.
Yeah.
Quick things, we still need to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Last meeting and 2 meetings ago.
Okay.
I'll second.
Mm.
Do you want to make the motion?
So motion to approve the, I guess both minutes. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
This is for the minutes from last meeting.
Oh, perfect.
All those opposed say no. No abstains, and then both of the minutes are approved.
Can I bring up one thing before you
Yes,
adjourn? I just want, it is not that I want y'all to have to go through this whole thing right this minute, because when Dr. Brandis and I were talking just a few minutes ago, we're gonna let Nolan, Garrett deal with part of this. So a year ago, Nolan Garrett, being the sophomore class president, worked with a now former student on creating a piece of art. And took a picture of it. We actually have it in our possession. However, when the bill came in, or when the student brought the bill, you know, pass it around so you can see what the piece of art. So about a 4 foot by 4 foot piece of wood that's burned art, and it's got a big bear on it. It's to hang over the top of the fireplace in Kramer, and it's beautiful. And if you want to come by and see it, come on by the office. Problem is that the student now, instead of the $1,000 essentially, and of course we upped it to about 1,600 because the wood cost a certain amount, and then there's $1,000 for the commission. Now the student is now saying that we would, to buy this piece of art is now $5,000.80. So I'm gonna, and Nolan does not recall that. If we wanna partially buy it and just hang it up and the student can, or the former student can take it whenever they feel like, or if they can sell it from under us, that's $2,000 to do that. Which does not include the amount that we had already paid. So, I personally don't think you should do this, but at the same time, I want you to be able to look at the proposal, want Nolan to go back to the student, or the, again, former student, because she doesn't go here anymore, to indicate this is what we did, and Nolan may have copies of old emails that was agreeing to certain things. I will not sign this at all on your behalf, until y'all as a group decide and know all the facts of what was really agreed upon. But Nolan indicated that that was not, I don't ever remember.
Yeah,
You were
no,
here.
That was
not-
nothing
and
like what
three
was
of us
told.
were here, and actually you were here
Yeah.
too, so that was not, and it's beautiful. It's stunning.
What's
It was
inside?
really good.
A student did it.
A former student who was a student at the time last year actually did it's a wood burn piece of art. I mean, it's neat and it's cool. $5,000, I'm not sure. You've seen it in person. Did I show it to you the other day in Clayton in the office? Did I take you back to the office and show you?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen that one.
It was
Okay.
never.
Yeah,
That,
did we provide her the materials and everything like that?
We bought the materials.
Then if she's gonna charge us, she needs to.
Well, and
reimburse the
she's got that
materials.
on, I mean, she's got that where that's part of what was there, but then it's still $5,080.
So, like,
Without the
1,600
For her work.
without the 16?
Well, without the 1,600. So basically, we bought the wood for $660.
Uh-huh.
And it's a big piece of wood and it's nice. But she would like to charge us $5,080 for us to have full control, ownership of the piece of art.
Did she not finish it on time? I thought she didn't
She did
finish.
not, we just got it like
Oh, well,
back
late fee.
after Thanksgiving, before Christmas. And she brought it in, see, if I had the bill first, I'd have said, don't bring it in the building, cause it's probably weighs 75 pounds. But it's in the building, I refuse to take it out of a closet where it's held, where it can't, there's fireproof closet, that's where it's staying. We're not touching it until this is resolved, and and she does know, I told her, I said, in the last email, I've talked to Nolan, he does not recall this. You know, I will have to take this to
'Cause we would've
SGA
never
to
agreed
decide
on
whether
that.
they would have agreed to
Thanks.
pay the extra cost.
No.
And she may have to come get it. I put that in the email. You might have to come get it. I think I copied you on the email as well. So she has a heads up that this may not go down because this was not. I
We
just
would
don't see
have
the
never
value.
agreed on that. That's the thing.
Right.
Can this-
So I don't, and so the problem is what kind of conversation, if Nolan can work with her to say, that's not what we did, we are not buying this now. And you as SGA can choose to do whatever you want to with your own money. You have the money to buy this thing. I'm not saying you should.
This is just someone trying to get money.
So, there you go. I just wanna make sure you're aware.
It's like a
So this
huge
will come up
increase
at
in
your
the
next
cost.
meeting officially.
And you turn
And we'll
it,
have
if
more
you
data about
finish it
that.
late, that's your fault. It ain't nobody's fault
Right,
but your own.
Does he have
She might.
emails with this?
Huh?
Does he have emails with this female?
That's what we're asking, that's what we're gonna ask him about, to find out, because if he has emails back and forth, then we have a trail of just saying, this was what
Let's
was
just pray he
agreed
never
on.
deletes his email.
We don't have
I'm cool to
There's
pay for
always
the
the-
original price, at least in my opinion.
Well, right, if it
Yeah.
really was
We've
just
already
$1,000
paid the
extra
original
dollars, then
price.
we would've
Oh, we've
paid
already
the full
paid?
price.
The whole thing?
You pay her the $1,000.
We
and
paid
we're done.
her, what was it,
We
1,000?
paid $660 for the wood, and that's all we paid.
$660.
We paid for the wood, but not the $1,000
No, we never
for.
paid anything else.
Yeah.
Because we were waiting for her to finish it, because we weren't gonna
Because
get
she
to make
hadn't
something
finished it.
without, we weren't
Yeah.
gonna pay any extra money unless we had the piece of artwork.
Right.
Mhm.
How much you want for it?
$5,080.
Oh my god.
See, if it was 1,000, like, that would have been an issue.
Right.
That would have been.
It would be $1,660 total.
Oh,
Listen,
And he even came in,
Well, it just, yeah.
he came in and asked for more money too, right, to pay for
So that's what we're saying,
her,
and the thing
or
is
no?
you're not poor right this minute.
Oh, yeah.
But Garrett.
Just for the wood.
Yeah, and for high-end wood, it is not cheap, however, the price is subjective at this point.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, I just wanna make sure you're aware
you
that
get
Nolan
this back.
will be working on all of this. And like I said, she's not a student here anymore either, so it's not like her.
And
Is
also,
it in the minutes from last year?
and also before we adjourn, I would like to encourage everyone to attend the MLK Day Presentation at 10 a.m. on Monday. I believe in representing and supporting the entire student body, and I think it's really meaningful if people see SGA members at that. The speaker is Joshua Bennett. He's a poet, and he performed at the White House when he was 18. He's a spoken word poet, and he's now a fellow at Harvard. He's a great, powerful young man, and I think it would be good to support our African American students.
Where will it be?
It's in Pied Monroe, 10 o'clock. It's only about a 35 minute talk with it's a celebration, so there's a little bit of music, and then the NAACP organizes a march from here over to the church on the other side of town. You don't have to go to that, but if you can put that on your schedule. I always tell students, we had class on MLK Day for a long time, and then President Powell, who is also very interested in equal rights and civil rights, canceled classes so that students could attend and celebrate the day. So if you get a chance, he's a really powerful speaker. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Is your favorite part?
It is my favorite part. You have to like motion. If you have to like motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Any second? Usually I don't have to go, you just like bang it.
Is everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How to make it dramatic, but in a.
Freshman student here with this, so we were thinking about getting, I don't know if he's stopped by your office.
Can you make me say that?